Hey everybody, Adam with High Desert Hollow here. We're getting ready to put in our annual garden. It's Memorial Weekend and we're just getting things cleaned up. Last fall it was a brand new spot for us and we're doing what we call a contour based garden system. So that means what we do is we have permanent beds set up and they're based on the contour of the ground. That way they stop and hold water and they soak the water up from the bottom. We deep mulch in between just like we are with the raspberry patch and everything we're doing over there. So what we're doing now is I'm getting ready to put up a beam trellis, which is what we're going to use as a 16-foot livestock panel that you can pick up down at your local cow ranch, Lowe's. I mean, a lot of these different places will sell them. And what we're going to do is we're going to go from one garden bed to the other and make kind of like an archway that you can walk through, and the beans will grow up from either side, meet in the middle, and we should be able to walk underneath and pick the beans. Having them hang down through. So we'll stay with us. We're going to kind of get some footage of as we go through and get this set up and kind of give you a rundown on how it works. Alright everybody, what we have here with these raised beds is when we built them last fall, we ended up hauling a bunch of branches and sticks to make a wood core to them. And what that wood core is going to do is it's going to actually make it so it holds moisture. It's going to make it like a moisture sponge. So as this wood breaks down, it'll start to rot, and then it'll create nitrogen sink, and then, like I once again say, hold moisture. But right now, the wood's in some places still kind of a little bit solid. So we got to find the right spot to put these T-posts down through, because I got to space the T-posts out. Because what we're going to do when we arch the panel across, they're going to mount to the T-posts, and that'll keep them anchored in the ground. So we'll end up finding a spot here and getting them driven in the ground, and then we'll go from there. Alright, got T-posts in the ground, got the panel spaced on here. Now what we're going to do is go to the other side, the next bed over, do the same thing. Put the T-posts in the ground, then what we'll do is we'll arch the panel up and over, anchor it onto the T-posts, and then we'll get some wire tie and tie it all up so that way it stays nice and solid. Another nice thing about this, the way it's designed with the arch is strong. More weight we put on it, it'll sink into the ground. With the T-post anchoring it so it doesn't shoot out the bottom. Should hold a lot of produce on it. So keep following along, we'll keep going with it.
Just like that?
Just like that. Got the arch up, as you can see, we're standing underneath it. For the first one, we're going to put two of them up side by side. We're going to have another one going down this direction. Now all I've got here is I've got just basically a rebar tie wire. You can get it at any hardware store, big box store, wherever you find it. All it is tie wire. And we're just going around and we're putting them here. We're going to put them down here on all posts. That way it just holds it from, keep it from moving and in the wind and everything like that. So here we go. For you guys that haven't used them before, if you do have a lot of wire work and stuff to do, a pair of these fencing pliers, you can get them in any farm and ranch store. They're kind of like a 5-in-1 tool. You can put staples in, twisting wire, prying on things, cutting wire. They are phenomenal for this type of work if you needed to do anything like this. They're built to grab a hold of that wire and put the twist on it and everything. Another thing I'm doing is I'm doubling this wire up. That way we get a little bit more strength out of it. Makes it a little bit more durable. We got done with the new bean trellis. As you can see, it goes from side to side over the top of it. We got them 2 deep. Got everything wired in. Now we just need to plant the beans. And then as the summer progresses, the pole beans, we normally plant Blue Lake pole beans. They're going to grow up all the way over from each side, meet in the middle. And then what we'll do is be able to pick them as we walk underneath, and it'll kind of give a neat little garden feature. And it utilizes that vertical space. And that's something you need to remember when you're planting in some of these tighter spaces in these gardens, is be able to utilize as much area as you can. So if you have I can get about the same amount of beans in this amount of area as it will be to use one of my whole rows. So it's, like I say, it's a lot more efficient. So what we've got here is a Blue Lake pole bean versus a Blue Lake bush bean. And like I talked about before, the pole bean is going to grow up the trellis we put up, and it's going to come over the top of us. Thing about a pole bean is you need to plant them closer together, where a bush bean you'd plant them farther apart, obviously because the bush would need room to grow out. So the pole beans, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be planting them about 1 inch deep, anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch, and then we're also going to be planting them about 3 inches apart. So as we come down here, I'm going to make a row down each side of this trellis, so I have beans coming up both sides, and then we'll go all the way through every place where the trellis hits the ground. We'll have the beans planted. So as we go here, what we're going to do is I've kind of raked this dirt up a little bit, kind of broke it up. We still got a couple little weeds that we've pulled out. So what I'll do is I'm just going to make a furrow pretty much about 1 inch deep. Got good moist soil. We did just have a rainstorm come through last night, and so that'll be nice. We don't have to get water on it right away. So I'm going to take some of our beans, and I normally plant 2 just to make sure that we're going to help ensure germination. If you buy from a quality greenhouse type situation or a reputable seed dealer, you normally have pretty good luck with your seeds germinating. If your seeds are a couple years old, you might want to proof them, see if they're going to sprout. You can just do that in your kitchen beforehand with going with like a damp paper towel inside of a Ziploc bag for a couple days, and just see if how many do a certain amount, then you can kind of see a percentage of what's sprouting. But normally when we go through enough beans that I end up buying new bean seed every year, every other year, so they're normally in pretty good shape for the most part. I don't have much of a problem with them not germinating. So with that, we've got them spaced out 2 about every 3 inches, about 1 inch down. I'm just going to push that dirt back in on top of them. Not going to really pack anything down super tight. We just want to get them covered up. So, and with that, we'll just keep, now I've just got to go through, and I'm going to plant the rest of them. I've got to come on the other side and plant this side, and then I've got the other here, and then behind me on this other set. So we'll end up going through that and get them all planted and go from there. All right, folks, bean trellis is up, beans are planted. Now I just got to give it a little bit of time, a little bit of water, let it go from there. We'll keep you updated as we go along. What's going on here at High Desert Hollow with the bean project, the garden, as we get it planted and going, and the berry patch and all the other stuff we got going on. So if you like some of these videos I've been putting up, if you could, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, it really does help me out. But in the meantime, the family and I here at High Desert Hollow are striving to live a more self-reliant lifestyle and promote modern homesteading. So Adam with High Desert Hollow, signing out. To give us plenty of room to grow beans on. No? Love you. I love you. The Blue Lake, it's a heirloom variety instead of a hybrid variety, so if we needed to, we could reuse the seed next year out of some of the ones we let go to seed. But the other thing about them, I don't remember the other thing about them I was going to say, Jocelyn. I'm trying to film here, you can't talk to me.
What?
Nothing. You're trying to contribute to the blooper reel is what you're trying to do.
Yeah.